Welcome to the Leader Shop on the Swag Portal demo. This presentation will run through a demo of the Swag Portal as well as go through the different procedures and emails you received during the process. It will be presented by Rebecca Boucher, Senior Director of University Brand and Marketing. It is sponsored by the Student Centers and Activities Office of Involvement.
We know students use both for their members or at events they have or for other reasons. Why did we do this? I always like to start with the why before we jump into the how. We've basically created an online buying experience. So many of us today are used to buying things online. We like the transparency, the pricing, the product options, where in the past, a lot of our vendors weren't giving people the option to kind of see and compare. We've brought that to the swag buying experience. Also, the trademark licensing review that I know many of you are familiar with, and there was a separate form, you had to attach a quote, you had to include artwork. That's all built into this new process. We've built it in behind the scenes. The system does it all for you. So that it's an easy buying experience. There's an easy way to share your invoices with SABO, with the SABO office, and all the advisor and trademark licensing approvals are built in. It also complies with the trademark licensing policy. The university has a policy in place that says any type of merchandise that's given out on behalf of Rutgers must be bought through a licensed vendor. This is whether trademarks are used or not, because it does protect the university from liability. And it also ensures that we're working with vendors that are doing business in a respectable and ethical way. And if trademarks are being used, that also is part of the policy. So we're also bringing a collective buying to the experience. Everyone is receiving free shipping. You're receiving volume discounts across the platform, whether you're a student, a department, or a school. And it also helps our vendors get paid. We want to make sure that all the approvals are done, that all the invoicing is done correctly, and that there are payment systems in place. So this benefits sort of everyone who's buying this type of merchandise at Rutgers. So before we jump into the portal and I show you actually the nuts and bolts of how it works, this is a high level view of the process that everyone's going to follow, all the New Brunswick student organizations are going to follow. So first, it all starts with a need. You need something that's branded either with a Rutgers mark or with your student organization logo. You're going to visit the swag.rutgers.edu link, which we're going to go to in a minute. You're required, there's a net ID required. So this is not something that's open to the general public. It has to be part of the Rutgers community. You're going to shop for your items. The portal has thousands of items to choose from. Then there is a place to build your product. And that is where either you can pick from a logo library that we have preloaded with all the approved marks, or as I mentioned before, if your group has a logo that it uses that's outside of the Rutgers brand or visual identity, there's a place for you to upload that artwork. And then it will also remember that artwork in the future, so that your account will be linked to that artwork. And if you need to order something, either a repeat order or something new with that logo, you'll be able to do it very quickly and easily. Then there's a product proof that you're approving, your advisor is approving, and your trademark licensing office is approving. After that approval process is done, you're going to get a final email letting you know that the order is ready for you to actually place the order. Then the order is placed, the merchandise is created and shipped, and then the student organization is required to share that invoice with the SABO office and go through the regular payment request process. So with that said, we're going to visit the swag.rutgers.edu portal, logged in with a student ID. It's obviously remembering me, because normally what you would get if you log in for the first time is a choice to tell it what campus you're from. So you'll have a Camden, Newark, New Brunswick, and RBHS. There's 4 squares for your organizations. You're going to want to pick that New Brunswick choice. The very first thing that I want to tell you is make sure you visit this welcome menu. When we were doing the testing, you want to go in here and make sure that your account info is correct. This is where the vendor is going to find your phone number, the email that you prefer to use. This is pulling from your NetID record. So if you have an email address that you prefer, a personal email address, or a different variation of your Rutgers email address, you need to come in here and change it, because otherwise it's going to use your default information. This is your phone number, your email, your shipping address, if you're planning to have an order shipped to a dorm address or maybe an office address on campus somewhere. This is where you need to update this information. So I wanted to first point that out to you. Well, that's an important note. So then, as you can, another thing that I'm also going to point out before we get into looking at the product, there's this Getting Started menu. In here, you'll notice that there's an area for New Brunswick student organizations. This is where you're going to find the link to the quick guide. The quick guide is a PDF that really tells you all the processes and details that I'm going to walk you through today. So you can take notes, but this guide here is right within the portal, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. So that's another good quick hint there. So here we are in the products. You'll notice that things are really sorted into categories. You know, apparel is where you find all your t-shirts and sweatshirts. You'll have your awards, bags. We have a section with all your brand names. There's lots of choices here if you just want to shop. There's also a search bar if you want to search for something. Let's say you want to search for some sort of coffee mug, right? It's going to come in here and show you that there's 44 items that match mugs, and this is just a general browsing. You can also within the portal tell it that you want white mugs that cost less than, you know, $5, right? And it'll automatically tell you, oh, you've only got one in here that matches that price range. You know, if you want a $12 mug, now you have 4 items. So and of course, this is all still mugs that come in white. If I take that off, then you'll notice that you have 39 items that are within the $12 range. And if you go back to your $5 price range, you can see you have 31 items. So it's a pretty flexible platform. There's lots of choices. There's lots of way to shop and kind of see your choices. But if we're going to get into the details of actually how you build a product, which is what we want to go through today, we're going to build a bag. I love reusable shopping bags, so we're going to go ahead and build this example. Notice that it tells you very clearly what colors it comes from, what colors it comes in, how long it takes, how big it is, you know, how much it weighs, all those types of things that, at least when we were exploring this at the beginning, I found these details to sort of be best kept secrets. You'll find that all of the products in this portal have this information available. And it also tells you, even before you start building, what are the unit quantities that you need to be considering, what the price breaks are, where the imprint areas are. I will tell you that the vendor that hosts this portal for Rutgers is incredibly accommodating and flexible. If you're seeing that you really would love this bag, but you don't want to order 200, I would say reach out to them, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute, and say, you know, hey, could we order 50 of these? What would the prices look like? They will find that out for you. But for the sake of the demo, let's go ahead and build this product. That's how you start the process of customizing it. So the very first thing you need to do is tell it what color you're interested in. And it reminds us up here that our minimum quantity is 200. So I'm going to say that I want 250 red bags. And then I'm going to tell it that I want to silk screen it on the front. Okay, so it's got those basic information elements in it. Then it's going to tell you what color. This bag, you can do 2 colors. For our example today, we're going to just say that we want our imprint, oh, I shouldn't have hit enter. We want our imprint area to be in white. And then here is where you tell it what you want your artwork to be. There's a couple of different choices here. So very first choice we're seeing is a logo library that Rutgers has preloaded. These are all marks that University Communications and Marketing has pre-approved. There are hundreds of signatures, block Rs in here, various colors. You'll notice that I have some of these marks marked with a little green star. That means that I've already searched for them, found them, and marked them as a favorite. As soon as you click on this little gray square here, it's going to turn it green and it's going to put it at the top of your search list. If, as I mentioned before, you have a student organization logo that is outside of the Rutgers trademarks, outside of our visual identity, you can click here and upload an artwork file. You're going to click here, you're going to upload, you're going to see where you can now choose a file from your computer to upload. It is going to tell you that it likes vector files. I will also let you know that the design team that works with this vendor is very talented. If you only have a JPEG, if you only have a PNG, they will be able to work with you to recreate the logo in a format that's acceptable. And then once you upload that artwork file, it's going to remember that Rebecca uploaded a logo, and it will appear in my stored logo bank here, and it will be available for use later. I do not have a student organization logo that I want to put on this bag. So for today's demo, we're going to tell it that we just want to use my favorite Rutgers with the shield on this bag. You could say, if you didn't have, I will also tell you that if you don't have artwork and you want to just use text, let's say you want to say Dance Marathon 2021, you could put that in here and they will help you design something, a design in a font or a style or a color that's you might have in mind. So you could put some instructions in here. So I picked my logo. I only want to imprint in one area, so I'm not going to select another side here. I'm going to add it to my cart. So this is asking me if I'd like an accessory with my bag. Today, I don't want that. I'm fine with the white. I don't need a rush. I'm going to continue here. Not all products will show you this accessory option screen. Some of them do, some of them don't. You may or may not see that. So here is the item that I've just built. If I wanted to order something else, I would continue shopping and go through that experience again, pick a mug or a t-shirt and bring that, build that just how I did before, and it would add it to my cart. But for today, or maybe I put 5 or 6 things in my cart and decide I only want 1 or 2 of them, you can remove them and you can edit them just like you would normally on any online shopping. But today we're gonna stick with this bag. We're gonna save and continue. So here's our shipping and our billing information. This is an important point because the student organizations need to, we need to ensure up front that the organization is linked to an advisor and also linked to a Sabo account. You are going to be required, you won't be able to get past this screen without putting your student organization code and your student organization name in here. For our demo today, I'm going to put in my test account here, which is you know, a dummy account that we've created. This billing address is pre-populated with what was in my account in my welcome menu that I showed you before. And then this is also the shipping address that I want this order to go. And you'll notice that this is all grayed out, and this is an area that I can edit. For today, I'm fine with these addresses and these locations. I put in my student organization code and I'm going to save and continue. Then it's going to ask you to pick your date. When do you want your product to arrive? Maybe you have an event, you have something specific coming up, and you need a date, you need it by a specific date. We're going to tell it that we want November 11th, and we're going to save and continue. So now you'll notice here, this is the summary screen. This item, the way the system is set up, there is a royalty fee attached to it. Student organizations who are ordering giveaways or things for events will not actually, at the end of the process, be assigned royalties. But for the process, it starts with royalties, and as it goes through the trademark licensing approval, part of that approval is to remove this. So this is something new in our process. No matter what vendor that you're using, they will initially assess royalties. They will wait for the trademark licensing office to review the order and approve it to remove this royalty charge. So I just wanted to call your attention to that and note that student organizations at the final end of the process will see that removed. So here we are, here's our bag. It's the quantity and color that we wanted. We've told a front silk screen, there's a setup fee. The royalties, as I've mentioned, will be taken off. And then there's that 0 shipping that I've mentioned. It tells you here what that you don't have any imprint text. It tells you the artwork file that you've approved. This is, you look and make sure this is the logo that I chose, so that's good. And then we're going to submit it for proof and approvals. Okay, so it says the approval process has begun. That means the design team from the vendor has gotten your order and they're getting ready to make your proof. So this now goes through a series of emails. So I am going to, okay, are you seeing the correct screen or are you seeing the, oh, I think I need to switch it. Okay, so you're now seeing, this is the email that we just showed, and this is the one where it prompts you to go into the system and check it out. Then after you do that, you're gonna get an order confirmation email. So I personally, when I shop online, like these emails. I tend to believe technology, but until I get this email and know that the system received it and everything went through as I expect, this is the order confirmation. Yes, we have your order, and yes, we're working on it. The final email that you will get from the system is when it's shipped. So this will have shipping details, your tracking number, etc. It will also have a copy of your invoice attached to it. You can see that up in the upper left-hand corner that there's a PDF with the shipping invoice attached. This email needs to be forwarded, and this invoice needs to be forwarded to the SABO office. Here's their email address. I'm sure you guys all know this. And then you have to follow the regular SABO check request process. And that's really the end of it. You get your merchandise. You're going to get a survey afterwards. But if you have questions, this is the communication.rutgers.edu address where you can find the branded merchandise process, a list for some other local vendors. If you're not using the portal, although we highly recommend it, the process is much more streamlined. This is the help email, the trademark licensing email, and also the Office of Student Involvement email. And this is just a screenshot of that quick start guide that I showed at the beginning that really walks you through everything we talked about.
Just for clarity purposes, since some of the slides did not upload in the recording, these are the different emails that a student will receive. So this is the first email with the student proof approval, then advisor approval, trademark licensing approval, ready for checkout, order confirmation, shipping details and invoice copy, which should be sent to SABO and your advisor, and then additional resources such as the trademark office and the student involvement office emails. Thank you for joining us for the Leadershop on the Swag Portal demo. This is the conclusion of the presentation. Thank you for joining us for the Leadershop on the Swag Portal demo. This is the conclusion of the presentation, and we hope to see you at future sessions.